Hello, Bonnie. I'm playing today. In fact, I'm just going to play with a couple of things that I could show you. I'm not sure how many of these colors you have, but I think I gave you a gray one, okay? And then I have this color. It's called Soft Sea Foam. It's a very pale green. I didn't really want to get all the pale colors, but you know what? After you've been playing for a while, I realized I need more choices. So this really pale green works out perfectly as a background behind other colors. And then this is the Coastal Cabana, which is the lighter shade to Bermuda Bay. If you like Bermuda Bay, this one is lighter than Bermuda Bay. So I like using that sometimes. And then this is my basic gray, which I tend to use this kind of like a black because it's almost black. It's just a basic gray. It's not black, but it's dark enough that I use it instead of black. And then this is the Pool Party. So these are really light, or they should be really light. And this one, I don't think I've inked it in a while, so it might come out super light. Anyway, but the rest of these are pretty much normal. So that's the colors that I'm gonna play with at the moment. So I just wanna show you what I was up to. At our last get together, somebody gave me a piece of Bermuda Bay cardstock. So I thought I wanted to use this cardstock to make a card. And I need to make some I miss you cards or happy birthday cards, and I thought this is really pretty. So I'm gonna save this piece to make 2 card bases, okay? In fact, I'll cut that in half right now because I'm just making normal card bases. It doesn't matter which way you cut your card as long as you cut it in half. If you cut it in half this way, then your cards are gonna fold, you know, long ways, hot dog, or you cut it in half this way and you'll have the basic card that folds in a regular shape. So let's go with the regular shape for right now. I'm gonna cut right here. The regular would be 5.5. If I put it in long ways, I'm gonna cut right in the middle, which is at 5.5. Whoops, I really don't need to score it. Put that over there. I need to cut it. Oh, that was my cut. So it's my cutting blade is in backwards. This is my cut, this is my score. Anyway, I know you can't see all the choices because the screen is really zoomed in, but I have these 2 card bases now. I'm gonna take one of them, put that away over there, and I will just score this. This color is my score. I don't know why, but I have a white one. Anyway, so right here at the fold mark, which is at 4.25, I'm gonna score that. And I'm doing that so I have a light score line, and then when I go to fold it, the cardstock folds neatly in the right space, and I don't get lots of little cracks in my paper. I'm gonna put that down. I like to use it, oh, I have my white page that I'm gonna play on. I like to use a bone folder to get this to sit nice and flat. Sometimes this is the best way to get that card to sit nice and flat. See how much nicer that is? So it doesn't open up so quickly. It'll fold nice and flat, barely opening up. That's how you know you folded it. It's a nice crease. All right, so I got that card base. That's the inspiration was this colored cardstock. So that's why I chose these ink colors. I'm gonna do a whole sheet of cardstock with a print. And I'm not sure what I'm making. I make it up as I go along. But I'm trying to get this paper in the camera so you could see everything. I can come down this bottom edge of my paper is not in the view of the camera, but I'll move it if I need to. All right, so what I have today, this is a prize that I got with the celebration. So August 3rd is when the sale starts, but I picked up my stuff early because I had things to do. So you could get this as a prize with a $50 purchase. You could also get these sheep as a prize with a $50 purchase. So these are cute. And I thought I'm gonna use those today so you could see how they work and see if you wanted any of those. And then this one, the biggest wish, was not on my list of things to purchase from the annual catalog, but I purchased it because I've seen so many people using the Hello Friend, Hello and Friend, or you could put happy birthday anywhere. I don't usually use a happy birthday except on the inside of the card. But Hello Friend, and then, or you have this Hello Friend, or you have Thanks Friend, and it was such a versatile set, and it really is easy to use. And this is the photopolymer that's on the inside here now. I love how they do the packaging. So anyway, this is cool, and I thought I could do that for the inside of the card. So I have a whole sheet of paper, and I was tempted to stamp the whole sheet. But now I'm thinking about it. If I'm gonna make 2 cards, I don't need to make a whole sheet. I'm gonna cut this sheet in half long ways, and I'm gonna probably stamp a half a sheet, okay? So I'm not making a whole big mess. I'm making a half a sheet of mess. Let me put my scoring tool out of the way and put my cutting tool at the bottom. So I'm going to take a half a sheet of white, and I put it right at the 5.5. Even though I know I'm going to cut down the edges a little bit, I cut my paper in half on purpose so that I have edges to cut off. You have to have some room to cut mistakes off. So I have that. You know, I'm going to give myself a clean sheet of paper here. All right, so I work on top of notebook paper because cheap school notebook paper is easier to replace, and I go through a sheet of paper for every card. And it's back to school season now, so it's a good time to stock up on notebook paper when you can find it someplace for cheap. But Walmart is usually like less than $1. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and get some blocks, and I'm gonna block up this sheep first because I really want to put my sheep on the card. I want that to be part of the fun. Oh look, this is brand new, and I haven't put them together. So I think I'm going to use this sheep, and I'm going to use this sheep. I'm not going to block up this one yet. So I'm going to take this one and I'll put him on a block. Let's see, he is here. I'm just going to fix my stickers. Ooh, I don't want to peel that off. Don't peel that part off, okay? That's not the part I want. What I want is the whole sticker, and I'm going to put it on my block, okay? And I'm doing this on purpose. The whole sticker is on my block, and the part that's touching the block is the block side of the sticker. The stamp side of the sticker is under this double piece of peel right here. I'm going to take this, so it's stamp side, and then that was the block side. That's the side that always touches the block. All right, so I'm going to peel this one so he's ready to add. Oh look, and there's a little belly here, and I don't know. You know what? I'm not gonna worry about this belly just yet. I might have to fix that belly later. But for right now, I'm gonna put this guy. This is his face, and I'm putting him this way on my table, and I'm gonna peel these off. I'm not gonna peel off the belly because I don't really want to use it yet. Okay, so I'm peeling off the part of the paper. This part must touch the stamp properly, okay? So actually now that I know his face is on this side, see his face right there? Face is on this side, and that belly should fit right into that hole. And so I'm gonna, my head might get in the way, okay? But I'm gonna try and get it right on top. And trying to get that belly in the right place. Oh, that's pretty close. Close enough. See the little belly paper? I'm gonna leave that there. I'm squeezing him in. I'm gonna peel this back carefully so I don't ruin it. Now the belly sticker part is still there. And that's the part that goes on the block. So I'm gonna take it off, put it back on the block. But that's how I put the stickers on. And I'm putting this on my hand so that some of the oils from my hand can actually make that sticker just a little less sticky. So I can put it down and I can pick it up easily and it's not all over the place. So that's one of the stamps that I wanna use. I'm gonna put them on a block, that little lamb. And I wanted this other little lamb. This guy, oh, he has another belly. The belly piece that's open, they do that so that you don't get ink in here and then get gray ink in the middle of your lamb. Anyway, so I'm gonna leave that belly piece right there. I'm gonna, oops, I don't wanna take that off. I'm gonna leave that on. And I'm gonna put this on my desk. Okay, so here he is, that's his nose side up. I'm putting him down on my desk, nose side up. And I'm gonna take the sticker that goes with him, and I'm not peeling the sticker open, I'm peeling the whole sticker off. Taking the whole sticker off. So this part that's down here is the part that's supposed to hit the block. So I'm gonna put that on the block. Okay, so that's on the block. And then I'm gonna peel off the stamp side. This stamp side is what's gonna go down here. I'm gonna do this to here. And I'm leaving the belly part in place because I don't want the belly, not right now. So here he is, nose side up, putting him down. And I'm gonna peel this off. I'm peeling this off. Okay, that was the other belly. This is the new belly. But I'm holding this tight in my hand because if you drop it, it's over. You mess this up, you can't really fix them. So I'm coming down right over that belly, lining him up on the stamp and pressing that into place. Oh, he's so cute. He looks like a happy lamb. And I saw your little goat and donkey cards and I was inspired. I said, you know, I gotta get my little guy out and give him a good use. All right, I'm gonna pull this out. I don't wanna set this up just yet. Oh no, where'd I put it? Oh, that was the other piece of the belly. Okay, you know what? This one, I'm gonna put it on so I don't lose it. That was one piece of the belly. I'm saving these bits on the inside because I can use them to make a pattern. I'm just going to stick it on here. Okay, I can use this to make a pattern on something else later. So I'm going to save him. Back this one. Yes, I gave him a little skin already. I'm just going to put him down for a minute and pick up my belly pieces. I use these to make odd patterns in the future, okay? So not right now. We're not doing that today. Today I was going to make a pattern with these textured stamps and the little lamb, but I don't want to lose these. I know lots of people throw away all their bits. They don't really have to use them. You don't have to save them. It doesn't mean anything if you lose them or throw them away. But for me, all the extra fun I can get, I want. So I'm keeping mine. All right, so now I have this one, and I have this lamb, and I'm not going to use the rest of this right now, so I'm going to put that aside. But I am going to use these textures, okay? So first I'm going to stamp some lamb on my card. Now, I cut the card so that it's going to open this way, so I'm going to stamp the lamb. In fact, I could stamp them this way, in this direction, so I have 2 lamb on this card and 2 lamb on this card. And I don't have to be exact, okay? But let's say I want them to be playing together on the middle of the card and then playing together on the middle of this card. If that's the case, I kind of want to have an idea of where the card center would be. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this. It doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going to open it right back up. But I put a little crease in the middle to give me an idea of where my 2 cards are, okay? I don't know if you can see that. Oops, I got to get my battery going. And hold on. I don't know if you're seeing me, but we're still here. Okay, so I'm going to take out the basic gray because that's the darkest one. If you don't have your basic gray, you can use a black or you can use a navy blue. It works nicely. But I have my card here. So I'm going to ink up one of these little guys. I'm going to sample him there. Ooh, he's cute. All right. So now I'm going to push this up a little bit so you can see where I'm going. This is one card. This is another card. I'm just making them together for a reason. I'm going to put him not at the bottom, but toward the bottom. And he's going to go here. And there is no rhyme or reason. I'm just playing. And put another guy right there. All right, so that's 2 of that one. And then I'm going to have this little guy. Oh, he's cute too. He's going to be maybe jumping, okay? Jumping right there. Look at that. And this guy is, maybe we'll make him jumping a little higher. Okay, it doesn't matter where you put them. What matters is that they look like they're having fun, okay? So I got 2 lamb, and I'm going to close up my basic gray. Now these, I was thinking, I really should put a leaf at the bottom, but I didn't pull out any stamps that have a leaf in it. Remember, these are the 3 stamp sets that I'm playing with. So I'm gonna, let me clean these off. We'll start there. Let me clean off my lamb and put them away so I can get some other textured stamps to add some color and some fun to the card. All right, did I clean that good enough? He's not really clean that good enough. Let me just make sure I clean him again. Sometimes you gotta wipe a few times. Oh, my little guy's a little dry. We'll have to wet him up a little bit later, but for right now, let's keep playing. So I'm gonna put this guy back in the, put him back in the box for now, and I will figure all of that out later. And then I'm gonna move to this one. This guy is just textures, just fun. And I know they're photopolymer, so I'm gonna start the fun with this circle one, which has kind of like a jagged edge to it. Just something cute. But that could be like hilltops or something for them to be standing on. And I don't actually want to touch their feet. They could both be jumping as far as I know. So I'm gonna go with this light green. I know you can't see it on the block, but when I put it down, it's gonna show. All right, so we're gonna put some light green under here. Let's put it over there. Oh, it's just barely touching the tip of his toe. And I'll put some over here. It almost looks like a mountain that he's standing on, but in this picture, it's in their sky. In this picture, it's under their feet. So I'm gonna put some down here. It's almost like polka dots. This is really a gorgeous little stamp. I'm liking that. But we don't want too much of the same thing, because what we're actually doing is creating a pattern on both cards. And I don't want too much of the same pattern. We're gonna go different. We'll go over here. And we'll get a little more up here. This color is so light that you could put words right on top of it and it would still look nice. In fact, I'm gonna go a little bit more here because it does give it kind of a grounding to have some green at the bottom for them to stand on. Looks like he's standing on these two right here. All right, so we're gonna go a little on this corner, and I think that's it for the green, okay? And then I'm gonna pick another color. We're gonna go with this one. My pool, you know what, pool party? I think I have Coastal Cabana. So I'm gonna go with, we're gonna add lots of color. Coastal Cabana is quite a dark color. And if I use such a dark color, I think I would use that darkest color with the splotches. And maybe this circle, I'm gonna go with the lighter color, the pool party, because it would be a pattern. I would just be creating a pattern. It's not too far in the way. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm gonna get my circle out and I'm gonna save the splotches for this darker one. But with the circle, we're gonna open up Pool Party. And this is the one I think I didn't ink it yet. I didn't re-ink this one in a while, so it's not very dark. Oh, it actually looks quite cheerful. But we're gonna go in other areas. Like I said, we're creating a pattern. No rhyme and reason, just put it all out there. So I got 3 circles here. Let me put a little on this side. We're trying to get these cards to be interesting. And remember, we're gonna cut the edges off. So it's not like the edges have to be perfect, but we don't wanna get too close to an edge or add too much pattern on one side and not enough on another. So like on this card alone, I got all these circles and nothing here. Let's add a little here. All right. And then this card all by itself, I got like 4 circles. You don't really want an even number of anything. We'll put a little extra on there. All right, so I still have some white space, and that gives me room to put those splotches. So I'm gonna take a smaller block. Oh, I haven't cleaned those yet. So these, all the things I need to clean are sitting up here in front of me. So I'm gonna go with this smudge. It looks like a little splatter. And I think that would be really pretty in the darker color. So this color, the Coastal Cabana ink, will actually give me a reason to be using the Bermuda Bay cardstock. Wow, that is a bright Bermuda Bay. Okay, so I'm trying purposefully to avoid stamping on top of my lamb. And I wanna turn this splatter around quite a bit so we don't have the same pattern everywhere. Look at that. Okay, so it's kind of funny. It's just like a fun card. Let's turn this splatter this way. Get some down here. All right, and I'm gonna go up here and do the same thing on this card. We're adding splatter. I'm gonna turn that a little bit so our splatter looks different as we go. Get some under here. I don't want to touch my lamb. I want him to be clean. Clean white lamb. I might actually use my blends to color them a bit, but right now we're going to get this part here. I'm going to put some in the corner so that my corners are not empty. I don't want plain empty white corners. When I cut up a card, I want to see color everywhere, and the color everywhere makes it look like I've cut them from a bigger sheet instead of such a little tiny piece of work. All right, so I like how it's coming out right there. I like all that color, but there's more. I still have this gray granite. I didn't use this color yet. So far I've used my Coastal Cabana for the splotches, and I've used my Pool Party for the circles, and I've used my Soft Sea Foam for the solid circle, and I used gray, basic gray, to actually stamp my friends. And now this gray granite, let me see what I got left. Here's the choices that I have left. I have this rectangle I haven't used. I have like a dollop of paint here that I didn't use, and I have some stripes. I think I'm gonna use the stripes, only because the stripes give me a feeling of fencing. Like if you put a fence, sorry, I got tape all over my block so that I could see where I put them. Sometimes I misplace things. It's easier to find that orange color. All right, so this one would give me kind of a fencing look. And I'm not putting a fence anywhere on purpose. Again, this is just a wild pattern. Let's see how that gray granite looks. Oh, my gray granite is very light, like he needed to be re-inked. And I am actually gonna keep it just like that because I like it, okay? I like how it looks. And I'm gonna put a little fence right here. Okay, in fact, I'm gonna go down one here. So he's got a little fence that he's jumping over. That's kind of cute. And I can't give him a fence to jump over, not without putting a fence above his head. Like if I did this, the line of the two cards is right there. So I'm gonna give him a fence in the background right here. I'm gonna put a fence in the background right here. So these guys look like they are leaving or not in a fence at all, okay? So just a little fun, okay? Just giving that fence look. And I'm gonna put a little fence back here. He left his fence. All right, I'm gonna put a little, if I could fit him in there. Yeah, it's kind of just a little for fun, okay? So there's a fence underneath our sheep, like they are jumping out, okay? Now, what I'm gonna do before I finish my fencing, because I want a little more of that fence pattern on this one, I'm gonna cut them. I'm gonna cut them apart. I stamped them both together because it's easier to make two cards at the same time than to make one and then try to duplicate that. I will never remember what I did, not unless I watch the video. All right, so I'm putting this in my trimmer. I'm gonna put it at 4 1/4, and I'm gonna use my cut them in half. So that's the front of the card so far. Now I can look at it and see what's actually missing. Where could I add some more color and what color? You know, it looks cute, but I'm thinking one more color would have brightened it up a bit. I wanted some more fence here, so let's go back to that gray. And I'm gonna add a little more fence under my lamb. It almost gives it the look that they are jumping around above their fence, that they're escaping something, which is kind of fun for my little lamb, okay? They're climbing out of somewhere, okay? In fact, I'm gonna do the same thing over here. This guy is leaping over, and this guy has, yep, he's leaping out of his fence as well. Since I'm gonna make it all the way across the bottom, so that's kind of fun. Just a fun look. And what I'm thinking is I would put that splotch, I would do that splotch in one other color, or I could take another pattern. I'm wondering if I could use this one, this rectangle, and just add some decoration. Just a little, you know what? Or in the lamb, there's a little happy birthday hat. And since I could make these into birthday cards, it would be fun to put some birthday hats in there. I might do that. And I'm not gonna put the sticker on first. I'm gonna put the sticker on last, because that's useful even without the sticker. Okay, so I might put birthday hats in red. That's a thought, okay? I have my real red ink right here. But what about another bright color? Something to liven this card up a little bit. The Bermuda looks so deep compared to the others that if I put a little balmy blue, that might even it out a tiny bit. Or I could have put a little brown. No, my gray granite looks almost like crumb cake at the moment. It's drying and it's looking like a crumb cake. I'm thinking yellow. My hand is going across here. My ink pads are all on this table with me. I'm peeking through, and you know what? I'm looking at a mango. There's a mango on my desk. Let me see what else I have hiding out. See if I had another yellow. Okay, well that's the only yellow that I see right in front of me, so I'm gonna grab that mango. So I have my real red that I might do a hat in, but for right now I'm thinking of this rectangle, and if I mess it up, hey, it's only a card, okay? It's only a piece of paper, I can start over. I'm gonna need a block. I need a big block and a little block. So I'm gonna take this circle, but I can clean this real quick. And I'll use this block for my rectangle. Put that there, put a rectangle on there. And then I'm gonna take this little, clean up this blue splotch here, so I can put a red birthday hat. Maybe I'll put that on the lamb, maybe it'll be all over the place. But anyway, let's put those down over there. All right, so I cleaned my blocks, and I'm gonna put this on there. All right, this one, I'm just gonna peel the backing. He sticks even without the sticker, but for right now, I'm in a hurry to play. All right, so what if I did a little mango? Mango is kind of like the opposite of all the colors that we're seeing here. So instead of a monotone, we're gonna go with the opposite, which gives us, oh, that's kind of faded. Look at that, my mango ink pad. You could use some re-inking too. I love this and I use it plenty. All right, I'm gonna move up into the middle of the picture here so you can see where I'm going. But I'm not gonna do too much. I'm gonna put a little rectangle here. He's getting cut off the page, and I'm doing this on purpose just to give it a fun look. It doesn't have to go anywhere specific. I'm just adding more texture to my card, more color. You want some color everywhere. It doesn't have to mean anything. Oh, I want some on this side, but I don't know where. And now I need a little something down here. And I'm gonna put a little, you know what? It doesn't have to be a rectangle in a specific space. I'm gonna go in at an angle. And I'm gonna go in on this angle. Okay, so my little lamb are quite pleasantly focused in the center. Put another angle right about here. All right, so lots of rectangles that also looks like rectangles and triangles, okay? In fact, I like it. I'm gonna do it on the other card as well. See what we get. Okay, so we're gonna go with a triangular shape over here. We're gonna go with a rectangle over here. I should have run that off a little bit, but it's okay. And I'm gonna go with a angle there, and maybe straight up and down over here. And fill in this corner a little yellow. And I think that's good. Put a little bit in the corner, okay? All right, so I like how the splotches are looking. And now I don't feel that I need too much red, but just to give it some more happy, I was tempted to add the birthday hat. All right, so let's see how we look. Oh, it's kind of hard to get it in an exact space. See, now with the photopolymer, you could see where you're going. With this color, because it's solid all the way through, I don't even have a sticker to work with, but the little hat starts about, I'd say 2 to 3 millimeters on my stamp, and every stamp cuts in a different spot. They're not exact, but 2 to 3 millimeters from the bottom edge. So if I was trying to get that on top of his head, I would need to know that. Let's try. If I was right here and I go in about 3 millimeters, oh, I got very close, but it's not exact, so I'm gonna have to color that hat. Okay, so maybe I shouldn't try to be so exact. Oh, that one came out really cute. All right, but you know what? If I had a few other hats around the picture, it wouldn't be so obvious that I missed it. See how it looks? I missed the hat, I'm gonna color him in. And then this one here, how about if I just give it a try. Oh, that's pretty close. I still want to color them. That came out a little bit. Okay, so this hat is, one hat came out a little close. These look pretty good. All right, so now I'm getting closer to where I want to be. I didn't write happy birthday anywhere on there. I would prefer, instead of stamping right on the picture, I would prefer to put a little banner that said happy birthday. Okay, so what I'm going to do now that I have these just the way I like them, remember I was using this is my card. This is the piece that's going to go in the card. So I'm going to end up cutting off the edges. I want to color. That's what I wanted to do. I want to color in my lamb just a tiny bit. So I'm going to reach over behind me and look for my blends. In my blends markers, I believe I have a gray, but let me see. Not sure what I have hiding in here. I have, who is this? Dark smoky slate. So that means there's a light smoky slate somewhere in my collection. I'm going to hunt for that for just a minute. This one I think is crumb cake, and I have a light crumb cake, and I am looking through, hoping to find a light gray if I didn't lose it. And I tell you, I lose things because I go visit people and take stuff with me and then forget to bring them. All right, so I have light smoky slate. All right, so what I'm going to do, a couple of things. With the light smoky slate, I could either trace him so that he is brighter white, or I could color him in, which would make him a gray lamb. Let me see what I'm thinking. All right, so I have a little scrap lamb that I had tested, and let me take this is my light smoky slate. Yeah, let me see what would happen. If I colored him in, I'm sorry, I'm going behind him. If I color behind him, not coloring him in, it makes him pop out as the white thing on the page, okay? And this, you see the outer edge that I'm giving him a shadow? That's a lot of shadow for this particular type of card. But if I did this to him, he is now a white lamb, okay? Sticking out behind a shadow. I could just as easily punch him out. Like if I put him on another white sheet of paper and cut him out and then put him on, then he would also stand out as a white lamb amongst all of this crazy pattern. So that's one option. Another option for this lamb would be to color him in entirely. So if I was to color in my lamb, I don't know if I want to color him in with this dark one, but yeah, this dark would probably be for his hoofs. Yeah, I like that look, but no, I don't want to color his eye. Oh, I could color his ears and I could color his face with this dark one. No, I would probably color his whole face with a lighter color. I'm not sure if I like the idea, but that's the plan that I had in my mind. And I know this light smoky slate does get lighter when it's dry. Right now, when you first put it down a card, it kind of appears really dark. I wonder if I could maybe stamp another sample of that lamb. Before I settle for sure, let me see how he would look. So let me grab this block. You notice I'm not cleaning up as I go. I'm making a mess. And I'm going to grab my smoky slate. Sometimes it's nice to make two cards so that you can mess up one and still have a card when you're all done sitting down. And sometimes it's nice to have a sample and do that first. So if you're going to make a mess, let's make a mess of our sample. Actually, you know, I'm going to do this. And these are light, I know, it's just for a sample. I'm going to try out the crumb cake. If I had light crumb cake and I highlighted him in light crumb cake, make that his shadow. Okay, so now you see how he does stand out with a light crumb cake. It would give me the option to give a little more gray. And basically I'm coloring just outside the line because the blends are gonna pull in a little bit in the paper. It's gonna bleed a little bit. So I'm just a little, this one you can see I got too close. Now if I colored his feet with the dark blends, the dark smoky slate, give him some toes. This one, his face is a little too dark for me. But if I made his toes in the dark and his ear in the dark, I'm gonna assume that that's not an ear, but that's fluffy. And I'm gonna give his face this lighter color. Well, I colored his eye by mistake. He's actually awake. The other one's asleep. All right, I think I like this with the crumb cake around the edges. Crumb cake around the edges. So we're gonna keep that plan for my little lamb. Hold on to that thought, and we're gonna go with a light crumb cake. Make sure I pull out the right one. Here's light crumb cake. And I'm gonna shadow around the lamb. Let me get to the middle so you can see me. It's kind of cute. Now this cardstock is not soaking up as much ink as my notebook paper, so you don't want to get too close, but keep your pen just away from the line. I am not really good at coloring. Believe it or not, this is as much coloring as I want to do. This little shadow doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but you get close. That's the idea. Get close enough so I'm almost touching the line. I like him. So now he looks white. That was the point. A little white lamb on white paper doesn't really stand out. And I don't really want white ink. I do have white ink now. I did get one. But White ink looks good on darker paper. I'm not playing with dark paper today. So this little lamb, I'm coloring him in. Don't get too close, but close enough. All right, and then the idea was my light smoky slate would color his face. And I'm going to avoid this little eye. This guy has one eye open. I don't have every color of the blends. I know, I have to admit that sometimes, but I do love the colors that I do have. So smoky slate is a beautiful shade of gray, and I use that for shadowing a lot of things. And crumb cake is an awesome neutral color, good for shading a lot of things. All right, and then I use my dark smoky slate, and I'm using the paintbrush end of all of these. Maybe it's just easier for me to see that tip, but the other end works just as well. The other end gives you a little sharper edge so you can have more control. This tip is very pointy, and it seems to like pour the ink out on the page. So if you need more control, you'd use the pointy end instead of the paintbrush end. All right, so they have little black hooves. Now my little red hats look a little out of place. Let's see what color I have. I do have red, which is, I think this is the cherry. This is a light cherry cobbler. And I'm gonna look and see what else I have. Oh look, what color is this? Whoever it is, oh, light pumpkin pie. We're gonna try the light pumpkin pie and the cherry cobbler. And now on a couple of these, see on this one, see how he looks here, and compared to this, you could see this one, his hat hit his head. And because I hit his head, I kind of want to color that hat in a little darker so it doesn't stand out that I hit his head. So I'm going to color his hat red. Look at that. So now it kind of fills in the error. The spots on his hat, I can use that little pumpkin. All right, so he's got on a red hat. We'll give him a red hat. When I'm coloring with blends, one of the things I normally do is use the lighter color first so that I don't have too much running. And this one, since I didn't hit his head, I'm gonna color in that error. And this one here, I can color in where I didn't hit his head. I can color that red. Anyway, I was saying I use my lighter blends before I use the darker blends so that things don't bleed. But it's okay if they do. Sometimes it's fun. All right, so I'm gonna save this light pumpkin to do the spots, but for now I'm gonna put him aside. I like the coloring. I'm gonna color the edges of this one. So now this was my light crumb cake, paintbrush or point. I'm gonna use the paintbrush end and go ahead and color that one around the edges. Now as you're watching me do it, sometimes I miss a spot or I forget something, but don't worry, I can go back. I like having lots of stuff on the page, like a pattern. I don't like so much white. So this gives you something else to focus on. This little shadow behind my lamb. Oh, he's so cute. This is my crumb cake, light crumb cake, and this was gray granite, but my gray granite ink pad is a little dry. And it actually kind of looks like this crumb cake ink. It's not too far from it. But I know my blends will dry a little bit lighter than what you're seeing on the camera at the moment. So we're just gonna go all the way around. You seeing him come to life there? You can do this same trick with the donkeys or with the billy goats that are in the annual catalog. There's lots of cute little animal sets in the new catalog. All right, so let's see, the light smoky slate, pointed tip, that was their face. I'm gonna go around the eyeball first so I don't forget it. Let's not color him in. Let's let him keep his eyes open and see the world. if I accidentally colored that eye in, you could always get a wiggly eye that you glue on. There's lots of options. I'm just making his face lighter because his stamp is actually done in a basic gray. So if I had done the dark gray for his face, I might lose the stamping where you see his little eye and his eye and the little smile. All right, so then the dark gray for his hooves. Just a tiny bit. Yep, I'm not into coloring, but if you have to color just a tiny bit to make this much impact, then it's worth it. The blends come in about, I think about maybe 35 different colors. I don't know if they have all 40 colors, but I'm sure they have at least 35 different colors, and I don't have them all. I probably have about 15 or 20 different colors of blends, and they come in a 2-pack. So you have the light and the dark of any color that you order. All right, so then I wanted to, the red has dried a little bit. I'm gonna put the orange spots on his hat. So it's not white spots, okay? Yeah, and that blends right in. Oh, he's so cute. So it's a very happy birthday card. Happy looking. All right, so I'm done with the coloring. I think I got everybody's hoofs, I got everybody's face, I got everybody's hat, I got the backgrounds. All right, so I'm gonna put that handful of markers away. That was my sample. I always do a sample before I mess up my card. All right, so now I'm just gonna pick one, and I'm gonna imagine how that fits on this card. I purposefully used this ink so that this background piece would fit the bill, okay? But I use the same size to give myself room to cut. And I do that so that I can cut off parts that I don't like, or if there was an error, or maybe I just want to move my guys into the middle. If you notice that these two are not really centered, they're a little off to the side, and there's more space here and less space here. So knowing that I have a 1/4 of an inch to play with, and there's nothing wrong with this card, I can cut that 1/4 inch off of here, which would actually center them up a little bit. I'm just going to eyeball that and throw a 1/4 inch out. Okay, and then when I put that on there, see now they look like they're more in the middle. All right, and then I like the fence, but I don't want the fence to be the bulk of my card. So I'm gonna cut off some of the fence. I'm busy, Troy. I'm talking to Miss Bonnie. Not right now. Okay, not right now. I'm talking to Miss Bonnie. I'm making a video and you're interrupting. All right, so this is how it turned out, and I'm quite happy with that. In fact, I want to cut off just a tiny bit more off of this edge. Just a little. Not even 1/8 of an inch. Let me just, sometimes I cut just a tiny bit at a time to see how it turns out. Okay, so that I really like, okay? So really all I need now in this card is the part that says happy birthday. And I can do the same thing that I'm doing here to this card, okay? So remember when I started, I used 1 sheet of white and I cut it in half. So I had this to make. And I used 1 sheet of Bermuda and I cut it in half so I can get this card base on the back. So now I have this white that I can cut into 2 to make the insides. And I have this Bermuda that I can fold. I'm gonna put that back in my thing here just to score it. This is scored at 4 1/4. And the score tool, whoops, I'm gonna put my knife out of the way. My score tool is this light brown. And this white, I'm gonna cut right in half. And the white is my blade. So now I have an inside for each of those. My son is hiding in his room, still not feeling well. But you can only give one person so much of your attention for the entire day. At some point you gotta sit down and enjoy some of the day for yourself. All right, so I'm gonna fold that other one. and I will check on him when I'm finished with you here. Anyway, so this card I will cut down to go with this one. This card will fit right there. See how that pattern just kind of jumps out? It doesn't really have to rhyme or mean anything. It just has to be colorful, give it a fun background, so it's a happy birthday pattern. And then on here, I can make a sentiment, okay? So I had this other stamp set. Oh, let me not mix everybody up. So we were using these textures, we were using these lambs, and now I have this one right here. So I can think of putting happy birthday on the inside of the card. What would I put on the card itself? I think I could put a hello on the card itself. But where and how, let's look at that. Let's think about that for a second. If I had a scrap, let me grab a scrap. If I can grab the scrap without messing up my camera. Okay, I have a little scrap of white. I'm gonna try putting, oops, I got all these blocks with all these pieces that are still dirty. So I'm gonna look for where I put my cleaner. I'm gonna clean this really quick so I can get a block here. All right, so I'm gonna take that off. And we're gonna clean up my lamb. I had pulled him out again to make that sample and clean the yellow off of that side. All right, so I have a couple of blocks to play with. And I'm gonna give everybody a good clean later. He didn't get too much good cleaning, but we'll clean him up in a minute. All right, so this is gonna be the inside of my card. And notice how I didn't cut it down to size just yet, because like there's always errors, okay? So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take, let's say the word birthday, okay, birthday. I'm gonna give this a try. If I put a birthday, how about if I put hello? That's another option. All right, here's another guy that I didn't clean. I'm just gonna off stamp him so I can borrow this block and I will clean him later. I'm gonna say hello on the outside and happy birthday on the inside. Okay, so let me get my happy. This set has a little happy in there. Let's see. Oh, it's this one. And that's a really big block for a little tiny happy, so I'm gonna put the happy on a smaller block. All right, so we're gonna clean everybody up later. All right, so I have a happy and I have a birthday. And I'm thinking light on top of dark. So let's go back to the color choices that I've already used. And gray granite, not gonna make a happy sign. But this seafoam green, Coastal Cabana, and Pool Party. Yep, I think I'm gonna do these two. All right, so let's go with the happy birthday part first. So right here on this card, this is the interior that I have no decorations on at all. I'm gonna take this light Pool Party and I'm gonna ink up my birthday. So originally I wasn't gonna buy this stamp set, but then I went and saw a few other demonstrators showing it and I thought, man, that really is very handy. I really like how it turns out. Now this stamp is pretty new, so I usually stamp off a couple of times just to get the newness off the surface. And this ink pad is not juicy wet, it's quite used. And I'm gonna put this word birthday smack in the center, okay? And I don't have my birthday perfectly even. I'm okay with that, okay? Because I'm gonna chop a little bit. All right, so that's the birthday. I'm done using the birthday. Now I'm gonna do the happy in the darker color. And I'm gonna put it right above my birthday, okay? So it would kind of sit on the top. Do I have it right? Ooh, I almost put them upside down. That would have not been happy. All right, so this ink is not so faded. And I can put it right in the happy, right above the birthday. I'm gonna put it right on top, right here. That is so cute, okay? Another option, I've seen people put it all the way down a card on the edges. to decorate the inside of this card, what do I have left? Oh, I think I put everybody away already. I didn't leave anything out. I think I put away all the stamps. So I have the words out, the word happy, the word birthday, and the word yes. Okay, so I put everybody else away. But what I could do is put some of those splotches on the inside of this. And before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it down to fit. Let's do that so you can see the error. The word birthday is not perfectly straight. I'm gonna put it in my trimmer and I'm gonna line up the top of the word birthday with the line on this trimmer. And if I did that and I turned it just a tiny bit, oh look, I can make it straight, okay? That gives me some room to cut a little bit off. Now, if I don't want to cut that much off, you can back out, but I'm trying to line up this piece so that it's perfectly straight. It's not straight on the top here, okay? I'm gonna bring this down a tiny bit so I can lean on that corner, keep this straight here. It is crooked on this corner. This corner's crooked, this line is straight, and I'm gonna cut. So now this top is perfectly straight to my words. I'm gonna turn that in there, go right up, and I'm gonna make sure the whole crooked end is cut off. And I'm gonna put that, so now that's perfect and this is perfect, and then I'm gonna slide this. This one is way not perfect. You see how not perfect it is? I'm sliding that in till both imperfect ends are sticking out. Cut them off. So the parts I'm cutting off are actually crooked. See them? Slivers. And then this end. All right, so now I didn't actually measure anything. I know that I have cut off at least 1/8 of an inch around the whole edge. And that's what I need in order to put this together. So when I glue this down, this would go on the top and this would go on the inside. Happy birthday, okay? So that's kind of fun. And now what I was thinking of doing with this little scrap is writing the word hello, okay? And I have so many colors on here. The only color I don't have much of is the red. So I'm thinking of using real red and clipping out a little word hello. Oh, let's see, that's another one that I gotta stamp a few times to see where's the juicy ink. And I'm gonna put it there. Don't wanna rock it because I don't want edges. All right, so that's a beautiful hello in red. And I could also use a ribbon on this card. I could put a red ribbon right around the bottom of the fence, or I could put a little knot of ribbon behind that fence. But for now, I'm gonna cut out the word hello. All right, so let's get this guy out here. All right, so because the bottom edge gives me something to go with to get it straight, I'm using this trimmer. I can kind of gauge that I want the bottom of my hello to be even. Okay, so now I know this bottom edge is flat. That's flat. Okay, so I'm gonna line that up with this line on my trimmer, that flat edge. And I'm gonna cut this down just a little bit because I don't want the hello to be big. I wanted it to be small. And now this corner and this corner are perfect where I want them. So I'm gonna line those two lines up to the lines on my trimmer, any lines on the trimmer. I'm gonna press hard so he doesn't move. Yep, I like it. And now I'm gonna come in here and just line him up to something in here. Oh, I wanna go in a little smaller. I don't want him to be too big. Remember that, we're going small. We're just saying hello lightly. All right, now, I don't wanna use corner rounder, but I need something, okay? You know, on a good day, I would have used a punch, but since I was using a scrap of paper doesn't fit in my punch, I didn't have that option. So I'm looking around, anything on my desk, pretty much any punch that you have that has a circle end to it. I had this little tiny circle in my hand. They don't make this little tiny circle anymore, but you could also use a flower punch, anything with a petal that you could stick your corner in. And I'm gonna nip off about 3 millimeters off the corners. It actually just makes that tag look different, okay? You could do this with a school hole punch from school, because yeah, it's back to school season. Or you could do this with that small bloom punch, because the tip of that bloom has a little round end, okay? I like it, You know what I'm noticing is it's a little more white at the top than there is at the bottom, and I'm okay with that. I'm gonna leave it. I'm not gonna go too far. So I didn't glue it together. Ideally, I might put a ribbon on there. I can also put some splotches in here. When I'm decorating on the inside of the card, you want to leave it as blank as possible. And I leave it blank because I want to put the recipient's name here. I want to sign, you know, from me and my son or my dog. And I might put a little decoration here. I might put a little decoration here on those areas where I'm not going to sign or write anything. And then on the front, that's how it turned out. I can put this little hello up here, or I can put this little hello down here. Either way, it looks adorable. I'm gonna take this away so you can get a good look. But that's what I wanted to show you. Just a couple of options on how we can use those textures and what we could do with those little animals, okay? So the animals and the blends go well together. All right, Miss Bonnie, you have a good night.